television commercials are reaching dangerously high noise levels, and as everyday Americans are trying to enjoy evening baseball games or TV shows, they are bombarded with deafening noise. After a year-long process, this will soon be changed by law.
My name is Anderson Cooper, and I am joined by my good friend Tucker Carlson here on the weekly CNN Fox co-program, Bipartisan Bill Bash. Today we are discussing Public Law 111-311, or the COMM Act. Why don't you tell us a bit more about what the act does, Tucker?
Thanks, Andy. The COMM Act, or Commercial Advertisement Loudness Mitigation Act, regulates the volume of audio on commercials. COMM limits the volume of television ads and makes the recommended practice, techniques for establishing and maintaining audio loudness for digital televisions, mandatory. Congress is able to require commercials to have the same average volume as the programs they accompany, making all of us safe from the potential harmful and annoying effects of our televisions.
Naturally, there are plenty of folks who aren't too happy about this whole thing. Aren't they, Tuck?
Don't call me that, Andy. Television stations, cable operators, satellite TV providers, and other multi-channel video program distributors feel these actions by the federal government are an unnecessary hassle. How can TV audio have such a strong negative effect on people, they argue? These groups are now forced to apply this advanced television system committee's recommended practices on commercials, as I mentioned a moment ago, something that will take both time and money.
But these groups won't be expected to pick up these new expenses by themselves, will they?
No. The Committee of Commercial Science and Transportation estimate that each of the devices that will regulate these advertisements will cost about $20,000. And after purchasing a couple thousand of these devices that are needed, somewhere between $70 million and $140 million will need to be budgeted.
Wow.
Shockingly, this number isn't even that high. Compared to many other pieces of legislation, this one's expenses are pretty low. We spend an absurd amount of money, and as a taxpayer, I must say that sometimes our spending feels a little...
Now, Tucker, let's keep our partisan opinions to ourselves for this program.
You're right, Anderson. My apologies.
It appears we are skipping an even more important group in all of this, the American people. As reported with their legislation, many consumers find sudden disparity between the volume of the commercial and the volume of the programming disruptive and intrusive. The FCC does not currently regulate the volume of commercial advertisements. People are suffering from this issue. It needs to be fixed.
100% agreed. At the end of the day, the government's real job is to better the lives of the people. As the main sponsor of this bill, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse said in his introduction, new ways to watch TV shouldn't mean new ways for corporations to blare ads at us at outrageously high volumes. It's time to boost enforcement of rules against loud commercials. I'm glad to partner with Congresswoman Eshoo to help annoy TV watchers everywhere. We've all had enough. Moving on, let's hear from our field reporter, Edith Brownie, coming in live from the steps of Congress with a play-by-play of this new legislation's road to law.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm here on Capitol Hill, where I just got the chance to briefly talk to Senator Whitehouse on his way to a meeting in the White House. God, that's confusing. Anyways, Bill S. 2847 was signed into law just yesterday on December 15, 2010 by President Barack Obama, and it was introduced on the Senate floor by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse about a year ago on the 9th of December 2009. The bill was read twice and referred to the Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation, where an amendment was added by Senator Durbin to include operators and distributors who maintain equipment and software in compliance with the FCC regulations to be in compliance with those regulations. This was agreed to in the state by unanimous consent. Next, Senator Rockefeller filed a written report that was placed before the Senate under unanimous consent on the 29th of September, just 3 months ago. With this amendment added, the bill passed in the Senate by unanimous consent.
Why are we only just hearing about this now then, Edith?
Well, Anderson, the Senate immediately sent the bill to the House. It was where it was held for about 45 days. Finally, Congresswoman Eshoo moved to suspend rules and passed the bill on the 30th of November, which was followed by a 40-minute debate. By voice vote, the House voted to pass, and the almost law was shipped to the White House. President Obama signed it into law yesterday, and Law 111-311 is officially American law, and that's all from me.
Thank you so much, Edith Brownie. What a crazy process, Anderson.
It really is amazing. In reality, this was quite simple in comparison to many other pieces of legislation. Both votes in the House and Senate passed with overwhelming majorities, and in the case of the House, the usual protocols were skipped after Issue proposed to skip them.
This issue seems to not divide voters among partisan lines. Democracy, sir, is a beautiful thing.
Indeed, Tucker. Finally, we are joined by Chief Bill Analysis, Scary Face Big Nose. What's your take on law?
Thanks, Anderson. This bill may seem to cover a somewhat insignificant part of our lives, but I believe it's very necessary to regulate media and volume levels. The CALM Act makes TV watching more enjoyable for American citizens. I applaud Congress for getting this done. The government has the same responsibility to protect and ensure safety for its citizens in the modern age, and new technological threats, big and small, must be challenged.
I'm with you, Big Nose. Thanks for stopping in.
My pleasure.
Well, that brings us to the end of this week's bill review. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week, everyone. Anderson and Tucker signing off.